Anybody wishing to comment? Mr. Bethany?
Mayor, council, staff. I think the recommendation being made to you is absolutely irresponsible. It's fiscally unsound. There is nothing to justify the suggestion that you can't find a competent firm that would be willing to undertake this work. In January, when this came up, you were told by staff that this firm was the preeminent firm around, was the top-notch, the Cadillac of these firms, and they did it well, and they managed the costs, and they kept them reasonable. And a $20,000 limit was decided because you have one real piece of property worth $1 million and $100,000 being owed. There's nothing in here that they say, if we have to go through that on that one property, it's going to cost $35,000 or $40,000. They don't give you any kind of information. They just say, we won't agree to a cap on our fees if we have to come back. But they say to you in here that they charge a $500 flat fee plus $100 for each additional year of delinquency and expenses of up to $200 for the smaller amounts. And all we know is we have one big amount. In the larger amounts would be that, they charge an hourly fee of $315. Now, it is not unreasonable to ask an attorney and to say, in essence, we'll give you a $20,000 retainer that you're going to bill at $350. They know you're not going to fire them. They know that they're going to get their money because they say in their proposal that they will defer collection, that they get their money out of the sale of the property, that they're virtually guaranteed, and what you're being told right now is the city is protected, the bondholders are protected, everybody's protected, and they're going to get their money through the process. But then they say, we won't agree to give you an accounting because they say in there, we can't keep track of our attorney's fees. It's absolutely irresponsible. It is fiscally irresponsible. Business-wise, it's irresponsible. There's nothing in this suggestion to you that staff has contacted any other law firm anywhere and asked them who do this. It's not so unique that there's only one law firm that does it. You don't have to have the Cadillac law firm. Find a law firm that says, you know what, we're happy to have your business. We're happy to get our $315 an hour. And when we get up around 10, 12,000, we're going to come back and tell you, you know what, this thing is snowballing and it's going to be more. And all we need is your approval to continue going. It happens all the time. I know how lawyers work. I know how lawyers collect their money. I take retainers on cases and I call the people and say, you know what, we're running out of money. And if you want me to continue being your lawyer, and I want to continue being your lawyer, it's going to cost more money. We do the same thing with Mr. Dean's firm. His bill comes in, he gets paid, his are never rejected. So the suggestion that you, as the stewards of this city, are going to reject paying reasonable attorney's fees is really inappropriate to suggest that you would do that. The $20,000 limit was put on there because we are a small city. We don't have a whole bunch of $1 million foreclosures that this firm would go after. So if they don't want to do it, if they don't want to, then contact another firm. Before you open the checkbook of whoever's going to pay this bill, somebody's going to pay. People who are losing their property because of the economic downturn do not deserve to be taken to the cleaners by a law firm who thinks that they're going to run out of money at $315 for primary lawyers, $195 an hour for junior lawyers and 135 for paralegals. It takes a while to get up to 20,000 when the costs are limited. This is not something you should do, and with all due respect to the city staff that thinks that you should open the checkbook of the people in the North First Street Assessment District to these lawyers because they're unwilling to agree to a limit on their fees, that's wrong. If they said we contacted 5 other firms between here and San Francisco and not one of them would agree to this, that would be one thing. But they didn't. They gave you supposition that it's not likely they would. There are over 200,000 practicing attorneys in the state of California right now. This is not something that's so unique that you have to kowtow to this law firm to give them an open checkbook if they're unwilling to work within the parameters that you give them. And I suggest that you deny this and tell them, if you want to work for us, fine. If not, we'll find a firm that wants to work with us. They're going to get their money. The underlying bottom line thing here, as Ms. Sato said, is they're going to get their money. So why do they have a problem with working within the parameters of a city of 18,000 people that you can afford? I don't think it's fiscally responsible, and I don't think you should do it. It's not fair.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Mr. Simmons, you had your hand raised. Did you wish to say something? If not, yeah, that's okay if you don't. I thought I saw you raise your hand, so I didn't want to overlook you. All right. You can't hear back there? Okay. Is there any other comments then?
Deaf leading the deaf, huh?
Okay, I'll bring it back. Not